Hello, Governor. Good to see everybody today.
Nice.
Who's first?
Governor, we're told the inmate work program at the residence may be in jeopardy because of last night's incident. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I made the decision to suspend the work program. I've asked former DRC Director, Mr. Wilkinson, Reggie Wilkinson, to agree to lead an effort to analyze the program and to come back to me with recommendations. And so that's what I've done.
Would you end the program depending on what the review says?
Well, I don't think the program should be ended. It's been there for decades. There have been times of disappointment, obviously. But as I have said multiple times, when you're working with an inmate population, you are inevitably going to be disappointed. But you don't give up. You don't give up on individuals. You certainly don't give up on rehabilitation. And so we think it's appropriate to suspend this program for the time being, to give former Director Wilkinson a chance to look at all the parameters of it and to come back with recommendations to me.
But is it possible that all the positives may just not be worth all the time and energy and worry over this program?
Well, you know, it has taken a lot of time and energy, but I hope we can keep things in perspective. These inmates, some of them, violated the rules with tobacco and alcohol. And I don't in any way excuse that or want to minimize it. But I think if we look around the larger society, we see those kind of behaviors being engaged in by perhaps some of our closest friends, perhaps even occasionally by us ourselves. I don't say that to excuse it or to minimize it, but I do think it's important to keep in mind what has happened and what has not happened.
How could this have happened, though, given everything else that's happened? Last night, yesterday's incident, I mean, how could that have happened given all the scrutiny of the program in the last few weeks?
You know, I think the young man that was primarily involved was dealing with something that was a great disappointment to him. I'm not sure what it was, but he did leave a note, which indicates to me that he did this purposefully. He was hoping to get out of prison soon, and I don't want to involve in pop psychology here without having all the information that I would need. But it was obvious after reading the note that he did this purposefully, knowing that it would certainly have the result of him being removed from the program. I don't know that he thought that the program would be suspended.
Governor, one of the inmates tested at .05, the other at .27. How possibly could this have happened with the crackdown you announced last week?
Well, like I say, I think based upon the note that this inmate was sabotaging himself. I'm sure eventually the investigation will come out with all the information. But I think this was purposeful behavior undertaken by the inmate, knowing that it would have a negative effect upon him. I don't know that he thought about all the consequences, but yeah, and there are maybe he thought he was going to be released soon, and had a fear of actually leaving prison and facing the outside world. Maybe he was dealing with some personal issue, but it's obvious to me, and I'm sure eventually the content of the note will be revealed. But this was, in my judgment, purposeful behavior. I'm not wise enough at this point to know exactly what the motive may have been.
So you're saying can you explain how the inmates got access to the alcohol?
Well, we have access. Alcohol is at the governor's residence, and so they're not supposed to have access to it to drink, certainly. But there is alcohol at the governor's residence.
Was this beer, wine, or liquor?
I don't know. That obviously will be something that those who have conducted the investigation will determine. I don't know that the answer to that question.
Governor, are you saying that he wanted to harm himself? Is this a suicide attempt, or?
No, I didn't say harm himself. I said, in my judgment, it appears that he was trying to sabotage himself.
From early release or from getting
well,
older?
I don't know, but when he left a note and engaged in this behavior, I'm engaging in speculation here, and probably I shouldn't do that, but I did think it was, relevant to what happened.
Governor, would one solution be just to make
if I can just once again emphasize to you that we're dealing with an inmate population. These individuals obviously have problems, or they would not likely be incarcerated. But I want you to keep in mind what the behavior was. There are unfortunately individuals who sometimes drink in excess. In this case, they shouldn't have been drinking at all. But it's. I'm just saying, I think we should keep in mind what happened and what the offense was.
Governor, was this alcohol that was in a locked cabinet, or was it readily accessible?
No, it was accessible.
Refrigerator in the kitchen, perhaps?
Sure.
Did he have keys to one of the liquor cabinets?
No. In fact, the alcohol was not unavailable to him. He did not have to break a lock to get to to whatever he consumed.
But he has in the past had keys to liquor cabinets.
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not aware of that.
Who was the note addressed to, Governor, that he left?
I don't want to say too much about the note. It was not to me. It was to Todd Renzi, who was a staff person at the house.
And it was left at the residence, the note?
It was left in Todd's mailbox. We have mailboxes there at the house, or mail boxes. And when Todd came in and checked his mail, he found it.
How come the OSP didn't catch these guys before? As we understand it, they were all the way on the bus, almost back to Pickaway before they were discovered.
Yeah, and they were checked. My understanding is that, I don't want to say what I don't know, but my understanding is that they were checked on 30-minute intervals. I don't know what that means in regard to this. I think it may mean, if he in fact was trying to sabotage himself and for whatever reason, that he may just have waited until it was near time to leave and loaded up on an excessive amount of alcohol. I don't know. Those are things that I hope to know and understand further, but it's just these are unanswered questions at this time. But I had the same question that you had because I'd been told that the logs show that he had been monitored on 30-minute intervals throughout the day, and so apparently when he first got on the bus, he was not showing the kinds of impairment that he did later, and that causes me to think that maybe it was something that happened right at the end of the day, but I don't know for sure.
Are you confident that this was an isolated incident and that inmates haven't been drinking at the residence before this?
Well, I don't want to say what I don't know. I don't know that there's been any evidence that they have, and they're seen by a lot of people, including correctional folks, as they take them back and so on. So, I can't tell you for sure, but I know of no prior incident of that nature.
Governor, how would consuming large amounts of alcohol help in